So now that we understand the regulatory basis and some of the business benefits of a QMS, if you're considering implementing a quality management system, or if you have a current QMS which may need to be optimized, where do you start and how do you proceed? I think the answer to this question is similar to the cat's response to Alice. I think it really depends on where you want to go. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. So let's take a look at a model which is a simple means of gauging where you are currently at, some of the systems, benefits, tools, and risks associated with various levels of QMS maturity. This slide is a little bit busy, but I'm going to take a minute or two to kind of walk you through this. Essentially, this is a simple diagnostic and benchmarking tool which we employ to assist our clients as a starting point to determine where they are at, where they want to go, and to help develop a roadmap on how to get there. So at level 1, the lowest level, essentially the emphasis is on people rather than defined processes. This is what I call the hero mentality. It relies on people knowing what to do and doing the job rather than defined processes. There are good quality practices that are being followed, but they're typically informal. Obviously, at this level, there's a low investment cost, but there's a high regulatory exposure, and there's a lack of ability to have repeatable processes. So as we move up to level 2, here we begin to define high-level quality policies. However, they tend to be interpreted and implemented on a project-by-project basis. The emphasis tends to be, from a systemic point of view, on quality control and testing and detection and calling out non-conforming materials or products. This is really, I guess, the foundation or the very basic beginning of a quality system. At level 3, we get into defined processes and procedures, which again at this point can assure us of consistency and repeatability. Typically at this level you've got a training or LMS system, and you start to focus not only on identifying but reducing defects. You typically have some type of audit program in place, and you may be considering some form of quality system accreditation, such as ISO. As we continue to move up the spectrum here at level 4, the emphasis is on establishing a compliance strategy and an overarching QMS architecture. In order to get to this level from level 3, processes must be improved. You must be using trending, root cause analysis tools with emphasis on prevention. And then finally, at level 5, which is the operational excellence or industry best practice level, you would be implementing a holistic QMS with integrated components between your electronic content management or document management functions, your business intelligence, your ERP system, your training system. To get to this level, the design of the processes themselves must be improved using tools such as business process reengineering and value stream mapping. You may notice at several of the levels from level 3 up, I included references to ISO, Lean, and Six Sigma, and I think it's important just to talk about those briefly. I mean, we could spend the whole webinar just on the topic of any one of those. But ISO, when you look at ISO, there have been over 500,000 ISO certificates issued worldwide. Only about 30,000 have been issued within the U.S., and a very small percentage of those within the life sciences industry. I think simply put, ISO is an umbrella or a broad set of quality principles that encompass process tools like Six Sigma and Lean. ISO works as a set of quality management standards and creates a common language for management and technical personnel. Another way to describe ISO is that it's a generic quality management system. That is, it starts by describing principles that are universal to industry and business. More defined ISO standards are created for some specific industries, like ISO 13485 for the medical device manufacturers. But even then, general principles are described and implementation details are left to the user. Contrasting the relationship between ISO and Six Sigma in simple terms, I think a good way to look at it is that ISO can be viewed as a mile wide and a foot deep, while Six Sigma is a mile deep and a foot wide. And I think the best thing to understand about ISO, Lean, and Six Sigma is that the three approaches are not mutually exclusive. If you're interested in Six Sigma, that doesn't prevent you from looking into Lean. If you're pursuing ISO certification, it doesn't mean you must avoid Six Sigma. All three approaches offer various and differing advantages, and they can complement each other. So just how do the three approaches intersect? Again, ISO provides the broad goals. Lean eliminates the gross waste in a value stream. And the process steps that remain are the best targets for Six Sigma improvements. A word of caution here, though, before embracing all three quality techniques, you really need to stop and think hard about whether your organization is prepared to handle it. For any organization embarking on multiple quality initiatives, management must be very, very committed. Embracing ISO, Lean, and Six Sigma will require extensive training, major changes in culture, not to mention a mouthful of buzzwords. Even trying to implement just one of these programs requires more than lukewarm enthusiasm. And attempting to graft ISO, Lean, or Six Sigma on top of current management practices is only a recipe for failure. None of these are simple add-on programs. Half-hearted or part-time implementations will produce only limited temporary gains at best. To enjoy enduring success, the organization must be willing to modify its core DNA. So if your chief officers aren't willing to stake their careers and their bonuses on the success of the program, then ISO, Lean, or Six Sigma will be the equivalent of a one-night stand. Brief, exciting, but ultimately disappointing. So let's take a look at some important criteria in selecting a QMS solution to automate your system and to simplify your compliance environment. As Becky mentioned early on, we at USDM are partnered with several best-of-breed QMS solution providers, including SoLabs and Sparta Systems. However, it's important to recognize that USDM does not sell software. We get no royalties from the sale of software by our partners. And this allows us to remain software neutral and independent, objective, and unbiased in assisting our clients in choosing a solution that best meets their business and compliance needs. So what I've outlined here, again, are some key considerations to keep in mind for your consideration of a QMS application. As I mentioned early in the presentation, many companies in the life sciences industry continue to rely on paper-based or partially electronic hybrid quality systems. Although paper-based systems can meet the regulations and don't necessarily pose high risks in and of themselves, they are certainly not the most efficient choice either. A routine FDA GMP inspection typically lasts about a week, but they can stretch to up to 5 or 6 weeks. An automated QMS could make all the difference in your ability during a regulatory inspection to demonstrate control of your quality system and speed up the inspection process. Most clients implementing automated QMS applications report significant improvement in managing the quality system and opportunities to reallocate personnel from policing and detection functions to prevention and innovation.